before you come at me with the pitchforks and torches, think about it. The question right now on the docket for this week, should the Crimson Tide shut down, or will the Crimson Tide shut down and rest Tua Tagovailoa for the next 2 weeks? Will the Crimson Tide shut down or rest Tua Tagovailoa for the next 2 weeks? He's coming off a gritty performance against LSU to where he's playing on a newly repaired right ankle with tightrope surgery. 20 days after the surgery, he is back on the field against the Tigers inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, and despite noticeably limping, hobbling, could barely walk after the game, he gutted it out and gave the team everything he could possibly give in putting it in a situation where it had a shot to win the game. To 20 for 41 passing in that matchup, 20 for 41 for 418 yards, 4 touchdown passes, 1 interception. The LSU Tigers came up with the 46-41 victory. On the season thus far, Tua threw 9 games, 31 touchdown passes to just 3 picks. And he did not practice on Monday. Coach Saban gave him the day off due to some soreness in his ankle. I watched him on Tuesday in practice, but very, very limited. Was taking mental notes, talking with offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian on bended knee. Did not do much at all. Was actually seen wearing tennis shoes instead of cleats. Just looked at the other quarterbacks go through the drills. You could clearly tell that ankle is still sore. That ankle is not fully at 100% just yet. So to me, it's just me talking. To me, seeing how, depending on how Tua looks like today, being Thursday, and walkthroughs, of course, Nick Saban continue to play up. He'll be a game time decision for this matchup, but depending on how Tua looks in walkthroughs will determine, does Nick Saban pull the move of playing him or not? But if this was me in this situation, I would rest him against Mississippi State. This is not the same Bulldog team that was thought to be a dark horse in the Southeastern Conference Western Division 2 years ago. This is not the same Bulldog team that's got the likes of Nick Fitzgerald and Dak Prescott from years past. This is not that team. Now, am I saying take the Bulldogs lightly? Of course not. You still have to beat them convincingly, just seeing how the saving grace of that team is running back Kylan Hill, one of the best in the conference. Over 1,000 yards rushing for him, 1,076 yards, if I'm not mistaken. He's got 9 touchdowns. He is averaging 114.1 yards per game. And much like Clyde Edwards-Helaire of LSU, Kylan Hill, built low to the ground, strong, elusive, can break tackles, a big-time back. So, not saying take the Bulldogs lightly. However, with the soreness still being in Tua's ankle, I would not play him against State. I would go with Mac Jones, go with the running game of Najee Harris, and move from there. And I would also not play him against Western Carolina. I would save Tua for the matchup for the Iron Bowl matchup with Auburn, seeing how that's the biggest matchup. But in terms of Nick Saban, I can easily see Coach Saban pulling this card, resting Tagovailoa against State, and then playing him for a quarter against Western Carolina just to take the rust off, just to get him some timing built that week with the receivers and what have you, and then pull him after the first quarter against Western Carolina. Let Jones, Tua Tagovailoa get some work in there. And then in the Iron Bowl, then you go back to Tua full go. I can see Coach Saban doing that number. But as for me, I would rest him against Mississippi State. I would rest him against Western Carolina. Let Mac Jones handle both of those games and then bring Tua back for the Iron Bowl. But knowing Coach Saban and knowing how mentally tough Tua is, I can see Alabama resting Tua this week but against Western Carolina, starting him, playing him at least one quarter, get the rust off, work the kinks out, get the timing down, go through that entire week of practice, and then after the one quarter is over, pull him out, let Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa take care of the rest, and then against Auburn, you will have to full go. But as a fan, as a concerned fan of this program, I ask you, what would be the right move here? Do you rest? Do you shut down Tua for the next 2 weeks prior to the Iron Bowl? Or do you let him continue to work off, the soreness in the ankle, continue to have him on the field, start games, working that chemistry with this group of wide receivers? So that's just a question for you Tide fans out there, to play Tua or to not play Tua these next 2 weeks. That is the question. But upon returning from the break, we will dive into the main thing that Alabama needs to do defensively moving forward in preparing for Mississippi State, that being considering starting Christian Barmore on the defensive line. Don't touch that dial, folks. Tying up loose ends on the other side of the break. As always, you're listening to In My Own Words. What's up, college football fans? You can catch the hottest show in the streets, that being In My Own Words, the podcast, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Subscribe to Touchdown Alabama magazine for the best in Tide football.